I do have a vial of sweet sleep, so we could put him Betty buys.
Oh, there we go.
I also have a single shot pistol.
So your coterie, your group, is working for House Bastion, recently ascended as the sixth house, known for its common roots rising up from amongst the people and more or less beloved by said people. Your main goal has been to put on this play targeting House Elmari, the fifth house, in hopes of bringing them down and, by consequence, you up. And you found in the last week's outing Cosimo Inesca, who has serious dirt on House Elmari that gives you lots and lots of great scandalous material to include in the play. In addition to your progress toward completing that, just a quick recap of other things that were out there. The Great Council is hosting a thing, very high old-fashioned etiquette. House Bastion was being trained on it, the prince and other leaders. But Gigi found that Lady Imelda, who they had hired for the etiquette training, seemed to be giving some good advice, but also some contrary advice. We don't know why, as I recall. Colin was just mentioning the house's charitable food delivery efforts. Some things have been showing up, the donations or at-cost material from the Bakers Guild, rotten. And this has continued uninvestigated, I believe. You had chosen to investigate what appeared to be sabotage, maybe, of a new warship at the docks to gain the favor of the first prince in House Alanda. You have investigated this a fair amount. You know that a spellcaster of some sort is showing up at night and apparently hexing the supplies being this warship, and you have reason to believe they're in the employ of the Bank of Brass and Bone, the financial center of the city, perhaps just to keep that money pump a-flowing of their loans to House Alanda for this project. And you have figured out that House Corvetto, the oldest noble house, currently the third house in Illyrian, is targeting you. They tried to set you up for a poisoning, among other things. You know that their minion is a fellow by the name of Peter DeRay, a more or less disgraced noble person doing their dirty work. He was in contact with a House Giovanni, apparently up to no good. They're a school of magic educators in the Collegium. And they don't like you precisely because of your from the people background. And we got some of that information from Adriano's rival / sibling who works for House Corvetto now.
Yes.
You have already made contact with Fen the smuggler, who's going to help the house get much needed defensive magic supplies. It is very much a weakness of House Bastion. You've gained access to the notorious Viscount Alistair Lovell's salons when you want to go to them. And that last thing we haven't touched and probably won't. Let's have a brief introduction of characters once again to remind everyone who they are. Let's go with Damon first and McGowan.
So McGowan, Mr. Kuth, he streetwise, likes to consider himself both kind of a dangerous, just a generally dangerous person, as well as someone who has the common touch. He really likes the working class and the lower classes. He finds them to be much more his type of person. Isn't really comfortable in hoity-toity situations. Likes to avoid them at all costs. He's been kind of just all over the place, working odd jobs here and there. We've taken advantage of his contacts with the dockers over this adventure so far.
Oh yeah, big time. Then let us go to Jenny and Adriano the cat.
Yes, Adriano Marcato, also known as the cat, is a dueler. He is the bravo of the group, but he's a swordsman. He's ex-military of Illyrian heritage. He's very handsome and dashing and fashionable, but maybe not so well versed in the etiquette and the courtly manners, which is why he is kind of a pet project of Gigi's. Who he wants to impress her in a friendly way, so he's constantly being told what to do by her, which he kind of secretly enjoys, but pretends he doesn't like it.
Excellent.
And he has a brother in House Corvetto who he doesn't necessarily hate his brother, but they're rivals. They're rivals since childhood, and they don't get along that well. And he's a little jealous of his brother being in a higher house and doesn't understand why that is so.
All right. Column and Toulouse.
Toulouse Tragique Buffet. former military intelligence, very much traumatized by the things he saw during the Calray campaigns. Whatever they were, we do not know.
Basically, there's on and off wars in Calray over the years and even decades. So, like, there are mercenaries fighting there on behalf of Illyrian right now.
Yes, and Toulouse took part in some very, very bad things back then. So he tends to console himself in pharmaceuticals and very much kind of keep to himself. And he is the eye of the group.
And that leaves Brent with Gigi.
So Gigi is a young noblewoman who is a distant cousin of the House Bastion. She hails from Altore, which is well known for its incredible cultural significance within the many cities of the world. While in Irian over this winter season, Gigi has been working to ingratiate herself within higher society and to better understand the inner workings of Ilian's social circles. She has also been doggedly pursuing two other goals. First of all, gaining paramours for some of her compatriots, as well as sort of acting as a direct producer from the shadows for this production that House Bastion is sort of planning in the background.
All right, that's everybody. So, mechanically, in the house sheet here, you have a clock to put on this production. You are halfway through it now, and your target house. Oh
my goodness, Almari.
House Almari, thank you.
Yes.
I was going to reach for one of the wrong names. House Almari does get a chance to, just given their built-in intelligence and information gathering, gets chances to add to their clock, and we're going to have one of them now. Now, the good news is you resisted every time they were going to get a tick on their clock last week. So they're still at 0. So now I'm going to make a roll. It's based on some of their house assets. And another piece of good news is their house strengths. Neither of them match up with this. So they're just rolling 2 dice, which I'm rolling 4. That is just going to get them 1 whole tick on this, the way I'm doing it. So you've got a lot of wiggle room. Your hope is to fill your clock today so it's ready to go at full strength next week. If they fill theirs first somehow, that's really bad. If you go into the play with it not completely filled, that's going to take away from your initial roll.
Wow, we have to fill the clock. Where's the Kanban board? Sounds like a day at work for me. Okay.
So, as usual, you'll get to start with free play and gathering information. And for some of these things, you might just need the information that might solve some of your problems. Then we'll figure out a errand for you to pursue as a group, and then you'll have downtime. So you'll maybe be able to tackle multiple goals over the course of this session.
Last week, I had mentioned that Adriano spends a good deal of time in the pleasure houses and was maybe going to try to find some ladies of the night or some courtesans who might want to be in this play.
That will happen during downtime then, since it's actually going to give you
downtime?
6. Yeah.
Okay, well, since I wasn't using my pleasurable activity as a pleasurable activity downtime, this is more sort of a working.
Oh.
Right.
It'll be a different.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Okay. No, we can make that your gather information where you're trying to figure out. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I get the distinction.
Right. And
okay.
Also, maybe trying to find some people who, some of the ladies who are not very well favored towards House Almari. Maybe
Excellent.
maybe they don't pay well, or they don't. They prefer nefarious activities that the courtesans do not like.
Okay, courtesans.
We can throw all that into play.
What does Toulouse want to do?
I want to head out to the Groen district and keep an eye on our food carts, on some of our food stands, and see what's going on there. And if need be, also check out the Bakers Guild, which I assume is also in that area.
It's in a neighboring district. It's in the Arbor district.
But I'd like to see if anything's going on, anything untoward is noticeable at the food stands.
Okay. What is Gigi gonna do with gathering information? Or do you want to ponder for a bit.
No, so I think I might need guidance on how to
Mhm.
accomplish this goal.
Sure.
But very specifically, I want to look back in on this Lady Imelda character and some of my
Mhm.
concerns that I have regarding her tutelage so far. I realize I don't think that Gigi revisited that, and this feels like a thing that she needs to deal with. Does Gigi believe that she has enough standing at this point that she could bring her concerns to Prince Matthias and essentially say, we need to find another tutor as quickly as possible so that we can make up on lost time?
You could definitely get an audience and make the case. You can judge for yourself if you think you have enough to sell that, and it'll probably take a die roll to persuade, but that is certainly an option.
I feel like I'm trying to trick you into telling me if it's like a risky or a.
So I'll say your standing in the house is not super high. It's not going to be a matter of you say a thing and they do it. You could go, there's a chance it'll work, there's a chance it won't, or you could try to gather more information about Lady Imelda to see if you have enough for a case. And then if you got proof, then it's probably just that simple.
Yeah, I just need to. I don't even need to necessarily take it directly to Matthias. Whoever is handling Lady Imelda just needs to be aware of that. Okay, yeah. Gigi is going to put on her fashionable deerstalker cap, and she's going to go searching for dirt.
Dirt. Okay, that sounds good. And then Damon, what does Magooan want to do?
Unclear. So I'm trying to remember where we left off with the Dockers and the information about.
Sure. You'd gotten info from the Dockers. Basically, between you and Toulouse, you narrowed it down to it didn't seem to be anybody sabotaging things on the ship.
Right. It was about the hexing of the.
But yeah, it's the hexing. Yeah, you had surveilled and you didn't manage to catch the person in the act.
Right.
We feel pretty solid about the whole somebody's coming by to cast hexes. You just didn't happen to catch them on the night you surveilled.
Okay, so I was wondering is that something I can continue to follow up on? Like, okay, I failed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay. Well, and we're back to you now, Adriano. So you are mixing business with pleasure, basically, at the pleasure houses and trying to recruit courtesans for the performance, maybe even as ushers, who can say?
And also maybe collect some salacious stories.
Exactly. Some dirt. So what ability do you think that would be? What kind of role would you make?
That would be consort, I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think that would be the effective role. You have 1 dot in consort, if you can't see that.
Oh, well. Okay, so that's a
1d6 with consort. You could push at this stage if you want by spending 2 stress, or maybe you want to save it for whatever comes next. I don't know.
I will save it for now and see. Just start conservatively here. 1d6.
Okay, and it's a 6.
Hooray!
Okay.
Wow.
Very well done. Yes, you're well known here and well liked, it appears. You are able to gather some people who seem to have some, anybody there probably has some level of acting talent, clearly. There's not, well, actually, I guess there probably is room for courtesans in one of the scandalous scenes in the play. And you also do get some people who have had unpleasant experiences with members of House Almari, because that will happen. The effect of this is going to be, you're going to have an extra die roll. Yeah, you're going to have an extra die roll and an extra effect on somebody's roll to fill the clock and complete the play. So this is giving you sort of material to work with that's going to benefit you when the time comes.
Okay.
And you might, I might sneak out some dirt on House Almari as well along the way.
Okay.
Okay, Toulouse is, yes, so are you going to just kind of tail your carts bringing the food?
Straight up survey.
Okay, and are you going from point to point? Like the food source to the food drop off? Or are you focusing on a particular element?
Yes, I'm going to start with the deliveries at their source at the Bakers Guild and follow.
Okay, what might one roll to do such a thing?
That would be survey.
Okay.
I assume it'll either be survey or skulk. They're both. I have 2 pips in both.
I think survey would make a lot of sense. You're not exactly trying to hide yourself. These are carts moving through, reasonably trafficked streets. With your skills, you can be more or less unobserved for the most part. The survey makes sense to me.
Okay, so we'll go with that then, and it's going to be 2d6.
Mhm.
I'm rolling them away. Oh, will I ever learn? That's a 5.
A 5. Okay. Yes. So you get information, let's see, with a consequence. So the first thing you determine for sure is like a closer look at the outset. And you know, your house knows the people at the Bakers Guild. You have an arrangement to buy their seconds at a decent price to bring to the poor. The food looks in good order when it's loaded. In every case that you're able to see, the Bakers Guild isn't putting rotten food in. Okay, partial success. Yeah, here's what the consequence will be. You see at one point in one of the carts when it gets held up in traffic, which always happens. There's a argument in the street, or another horse cart loses a wheel or something like that. When it is stopped, you observe a figure dash up to the food cart, reach into it, and then duck away into the crowd. The 5 means you don't see who it was. You can resist that consequence if you want to see who it was. But the information you do get is you see something that looks like a sugar cube dropped, like kind of slapped along the inside of the cart. It is slowly dissolving, and you could actually smell the spread of rot through the food cart as it dissolves.
Smells like the fields of Calray as they burned. Okay,
Not really. It just smells like rotten food.
I'm gonna. How dare you, sir? Yeah, why not? If I can. What do I need to
Okay.
do for that?
So
my name is Rob, and I love stepping on RPE.
Let's see. That would be your attribute. Would be you use survey. That'll be your mind attribute. So you figure out how many dots you have, or how many you have at least one dot in. Roll that many dice. Take 6 stress minus the high roll.
Take 6 stress.
Oof.
Minus the
Ooh.
high roll.
Hold on, wait a sec now. I've only got 5 slots left in stress. Let me see. Oh well, see now, I'm Mr. Stress, and now I'm quaking in my
But
boots here.
I see you've
Okay.
got three dots, so you get to roll 3 dice here because you have at least 1 dot and 3 different mind.
Oh,
skill.
okay. So I have 3. Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
rolling.
What are the odds rolling
3.
3 ones, Column?
Well,
Impossible.
yeah, it's never gonna happen. No,
What did you roll?
I rolled 2 ones.
And?
And a 3. So
Okay.
that's 3 stress.
3 stress. Okay. You see, you didn't realize who they were at first. It was just somebody dressed in the robes of a monk of one of the temples. But your military training, your background knows this person doesn't move or walk like a monk. And you cut through a crowd and see just before they duck around the corner. And it is a fella by the name of Peter DeRay. A figure you recognize all too well at this point.
The dastard DeRay.
Minion of House Corvetto.
Sugar cubes. Okay, I'm gonna skip back to our wherever the hell we live.
Okay. You are based at the House Bastion Palace grounds. You also have those separate apartments where you've got a drunken former general hanging out right now.
Oh, I'll go there.
Gigi, you are trying to dig up dirt on Lady Imelda. So how are you doing that? Skulking around, following her about, working the society scenes, going gambling down at the docks? That probably won't work. But you could try.
You know what?
Chicken butt?
I think that so far I've comported myself as a lady who could be of potential use to the Viscount. I might, while attending one of Viscount Lovell's garden parties for the season, what I'd like to argue down to is I'll owe you one, but what can you tell me about her?
All right. Well, it's always a duel of wits with the Viscount. What skill would you point toward for this role? And there's always a risk of revealing more than you gain with Viscount Lovell.
Oh yeah, I'm going to consort. I am using my good name. I'm pushing myself. So how much stress is that to push?
2 stress to push.
All right.
And you get +1 die and a bonus effect. And because this fits good name quite perfectly.
Okay, we ready?
Yep.
All right, literally stretching my arm. Okay, first dice.
Good die roll.
It's a 6 on the first one. It's a 4 and a 1.
Okay. Well, 6 is really quite good. You are just charming as all get out with the Viscount. And, he plays coy for a little bit at first, of course. Says, Lady Imelda, why are you curious about her?
Well, as you understand, I'm becoming somewhat of a student of Irulan culture, and much of that is we are working with Lady Imelda to learn some of the finer points of a particularly elaborate court dinner ritual. We, of course, want to stay current. But I must admit, I do not know if it is simply a language barrier issue, but there just seems to be some inconsistencies in some of these things that she is teaching at these salons that she is putting on for my house. Do you think that there is perhaps another tutor that I could inquire after that might be more suitable for our needs?
Oh, of course. And Lady Imelda is quite knowledgeable. I wouldn't say a poor thing about her, a negative thing about her at all. Indeed, except for the problem she has. Of course, it's very unpleasant.
Oh, well, what's that? I wouldn't tell anyone else, of course.
Well, she seems to have a bit of a habit. I of course know nothing about such things, but you're familiar with.
Of course not.
You've heard of this dream leaf that some of the lower swords use, haven't you? And that you all have. It's a fairly mild drug that induces a euphoria followed by lurid dreams, said to be collected from the graves of knacks, of people who were spellcasters. Of course, one can't credit such a rumor, but poor Lady Imelda seems to have developed a habit for what's supposed to be an even stronger form of dream leaf. Very hard to come by.
Oh, wow.
And, well, someone has been providing this to her in exchange for certain changes to her curriculum, I understand.
That's very interesting. We surely would love to know who has been providing her with these things. It is perhaps better that she is a little more clear-headed for her lessons.
Well, one would imagine so. Let's see, out of 6, well, I only have rumors, of course, but, well, one of the other great houses seems to have access to this material. One of the great houses that is well familiar with things magical. House Corvetto, of course.
I see.
But of course, as I say, one can't credit these vile rumors
Of course not.
about a good lady such as Lady
not.
Imelda. It embarrasses me to even speak of them. All right. Oh, actually, okay, for a 6, Adriano, you also get one courtesan in particular who agrees to watch for and feed you information about Almari customers for the duration.
Oh, great. That's very cool.
Okay, McGowan, you're trying to crack the case down at the docks.
Right.
What is your evil plan of evil?
Well, let's see here. So I was casing before, and I tried to catch the person red-handed. How about this time I watch them show up, do their thing, and track them back to where they came from?
Okay. What shall you be rolling this time?
This is, I think, pretty clearly a survey, which gives me 1 die.
I mean, I could also see a skulk in that you would be tailing and trying to remain unnoticed.
That's no good.
Okay, survey it shall be then.
Yeah. And I'm not going to spend another die on it, because, just not feeling as saucy today.
Okay.
So let's take that chance.
Yeah, go ahead and make your roll.
It's amazing. A 3, which is
A 3.
pretty much a failure.
Okay, now I'm going to point out your house special ability. You are friendly with the beggars and downtrodden of Illyria, and you may use them as a source of information. Pay 1 influence to get a 4 or 5 result in any gather information question, or 2 influence for a 6. And I invoke this here because you're at the docks where there are plenty of not just dockers, but beggars and downtrodden.
I've got 2 influence here. I'll burn one of them to make that a 4 or 5.
Okay. You are staking out the place, and one of the dockside beggars recognizes you from your past visits to the dock and says, begging your pardon, sir, and tugs on his tattered cap. Are you looking for the fella directly the opposite side of that heap there? He's, what do you say it is, eclipsed from where you're standing?
Well. I might be. I have a peek.
Okay. So by changing your position with that guidance and the price of your one influence, you do get eyes on somebody who is just now turning away, looking around to try to make sure that he's not followed, pulls a cowl over his head, puts his head down, and ducks off into the nighttime fog.
I mean, can you be any more suspicious than that?
Well, and your goal was to follow them and find out where they were going?
That's right.
Your intent. Okay. They have a head start on you, but you're able to keep up. You follow them to a nondescript looking house, a 2-story house overlooking the docks, just on the landward side of them. They stop at the door. Somebody greets them, hands them what appears to be a payment of some sort, and then they go inside. You have a choice here. You can expose yourself to gain a little more information here, but get some exposure and risk the wrath of whoever is doing this. Or you can let it go with what you have so far.
No, this is totally Magoon. He would totally, well, I don't want to say Magoon would absolutely expose himself.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So if you nose around and ask, who owns that house and things like that,
right,
you eventually find out that it has been abandoned for some time and foreclosed upon and currently owned by, of course, the Bank of Brass and Bone.
Oh, who could have guessed it?
But your consequence is going to be exposure for the house, 1 dot, because you've been nosing around and attracting the interest of the bank, which is not necessarily a good thing. You can resist that if you want.
Yeah, I'll try and resist it. What do I need to roll?
You just resist. You roll your relevant attribute, which was whichever one's over survey, which I should have memorized by now.
No, that's right. So is that 1 die?
It's under mind. You have 2 skills with dots in them, so you'd roll 2 dice. And
2
take
dice.
6 stress minus that.
6 stress minus 5. So 1 stress.
Oh, 1 stress. Not bad. So you managed to... 1 stress for you. Yep.
Okay, got it.
So you managed to go against character and be discreet for that 1 stress.
I figured for once it was worth trying.
All right. So you can reconvene now. You can do an errand where you all get together to do something. I can imagine a number of possibilities here. It could be related to something advancing the cause of the play. It could be targeting, any of the people we've talked about so far. It could be completely unrelated. Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm very concerned about why House Corvetto seems to have it in for us so fiercely. I mean, I know why they don't like us, but...
aren't there 2 houses against us? Corvetto and Giovanni?
Yes, but Corvetto is the one that's like with the guy with the poison.
Peter DeRay.
Peter DeRay.
Well, his name is Peter.
I don't know. I feel like getting to him would be something of interest.
Okay. And House Corvetto clearly has it in for you. Basically, you have it in for House Almari. They weren't actually targeting you as far as you could tell. You're just trying to, since they're next in the line, you were trying to take them down a peg. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Almari. I was thinking, did I say Almari? I meant Giovanni.
They appear to be affiliated with House Corvetto. That's Toulouse had followed, I believe, Peter DeRay, who led him there and appears to be trafficking with them in something.
So it's 2 houses, essentially, in league, as it were.
But the House Giovanni is a minor house. They're not one of the big 6. In fact, they're basically a house fallen on hard times that makes ends meet by becoming basically a college within the collegium teaching magic.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, I mean, Adriano is ready to go challenge this Peter, what's his name, to a duel. But then again, Adriano is a headstrong sort, so you can talk me off the ledge on that one.
Toulouse wants to poison him, so I'm up for watching you duel him. That would be more entertaining. I think we need to send a strong message to House Corvetto.
That we are not to be trifled with.
Yes.
Which is one of our house attributes.
So I think we should send a message to them via their messenger boy.
Okay.
I kind of imagined that as we're kind of the 4 of us having this conversation, we're in the private apartments and our playwright and our witness are like in a back room just kind of shouting at each other. Yeah,
you've got that's a good scene setting. Yeah, your private apartment is like a multi-room suite, and you hear the rise and fall of the narrative in the other room. At some points, the playwright trying to shut up the general to try to catch up on the writing. But yes, you're off talking in the entry room, the
And of course,
receiving room.
Adriano was pacing up and down with his hand on his sword. He wants to go. He wants to go duel Peter.
Has served tea, so everyone needs to sit down so that we can have tea, because that's what we're doing right now.
Of course.
Gigi's going to poison you all.
Adriano is begrudgingly sits down because it's Gigi who just told him to do it.
Gigi says very carefully that we should be very careful with how we handle House Corvetto. They are 3 ranks above us, and that is no accident. If we are to go and try to retaliate in an open manner, we need to make sure that we are on more equal footing, but I do not think that we are in a position to do that at this moment. However, something absolutely must be done regarding House Corvetto's assaults. We must take a more defensive track. And if that means removing Peter de Rey, I think that is something that perhaps that we can do in more quiet circumstances, perhaps something that is not directly linked to any member of House Bastion in terms of his demise. In terms of where we can be offensive, if needed, is towards House Almari. In terms of what we are expected to do, in terms of what is meant to be our most visible front, House Bastion is interested in playing the game. We have joined these six people. We need to understand that we need to sometimes take a little blood on our nose. So I do not think that we will do anything against House Corvetto yet that will truly take them down, but we need to just manage our expectations and keep cool heads, because anything too overt could mean the other 5 houses have a new common enemy in us.
But Gigi, they have offended us, and I don't think that we should just take that line down.
Oh, we are not.
They're also hurting our business.
Gigi, I'm not sure what you're so afraid of. Why do we need to be defensive? The best defense is a good offense. I'm in favor of the duel or the poisoning. Either way, sends the right message.
Or poison blade.
Yeah, why not both?
Well, I mean, I see the sense in what Gigi is saying, especially because House Corvetto has magic on their side. And she is correct when she says that they're the 3rd house for a reason.
I'm not saying we should take them on directly at all.
No.
I'm saying that we should surreptitiously remove Peter de Rey from the picture.
I'm in full agreement, Toulouse.
That would be a more rational thing to do. I mean, Adriano is not a rational man, but he agrees that Peter de Rey must be removed before he causes any more damage.
Bring me the head of Peter de Rey.
Peter de Rey must die.
Okay. So it seems like we're moving toward a plan here, an engagement roll, perhaps even.
This can now be officially tried as attempted murder. Like, we have agreed on
Yes.
a course of action.
What if we just kidnapped him and made him disappear into our apartments?
I don't want to kidnap him and make him disappear. I just want to make him disappear. We need to send a strong, silent message.
All right. So your goal, it sounds like, is to kill Peter de Rey. Do I have that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I never said kill. I just said make him go away.
Well, there are boats and things like the plans. You pick one of our 6 plans. Assault. That would be, I think, the original thing brought up by Toulouse of Adriano, go in stabbing.
Mhm.
Deception, trying to deceive your way in to get access. Stealth, sneaking in to do something bad. Arcane, using magical means to do something to him, which doesn't seem like your strong point. Social, I guess you could try to negotiate him out of House Corvetto's service. Or transport.
Transport. Let's feed him to the smugglers.
We could hook him up with Fen and send him on a long trip to a farm up north, maybe.
That would be a bad idea.
Okay.
At sword point.
Either that or stealth, or else we write a musical about him.
We're busy enough with House
I
Almari.
really like the idea of a transport mission. It's also one of House Bastion's specialties, right?
True.
Mhm.
Very true.
So we truss him up like a pig, stick him in a cart, give him to Fen, and get him out of the city. And we don't kill him. If he dies on the way, that's too bad, so sad.
Okay, and just the tricky bit, and again, we don't go over far into planning, but is your goal to catch him at that house he was at? Catch him out and about? Like, break in while he's sleeping? A lot of ways to try to obtain him as a cargo.
My suggestion is to intercept him the next time he tries to sugar cube one of our food carts.
Nice.
Okay.
And I will be waiting quietly with my blade to force him at sword point to where we need him to go.
Excellent. Okay.
Cloaked and disguised, of course.
Here we go. You get 1 die just for being you on your engagement roll. Is this errand particularly bold and daring?
I'd say so.
Kinda,
Yeah,
I think.
so.
Yeah, I think so. We're kidnapping
Yeah.
somebody in broad daylight.
Right.
Plus 1d to your engagement
Yeah.
roll. Is it overly complex or contingent on luck or outside factors? Not really. So it seems like you're
No.
just sort of setting up some of the food carts as traps for him, basically, and you'll keep escorting them until he bites. So that doesn't seem too contingent on luck or outside factors. Does this plan leverage one of your house's strengths? As noted,
Transport.
yes, transport. You can. You could certainly have a transport that looks like a food transport, but has a nice little hidey hole that you could duck
Oh, hell
somebody
yeah.
in.
I love that James Bond shit.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Your house could do that. So that's a 3rd die already. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight into this errand?
And
God damn it. Yes. Okay, 4 dice. Are your enemies or rivals interfering in this? Yes, because I mean, we were targeting one of them, if nothing else. So that's back down to 3 dice. I don't really have paramours going.
I'm working on it.
It is a higher tier target, but I don't think that. Okay, I'm thinking 3 dice for our engagement roll, but column has to roll it.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
What?
But hang on, because you guys you took as a special ability the lady's blessing as one of your special abilities. You may even use it to improve your engagement roll itself if you like. That's what I wanted to check. So you could burn it right now and have a 4-die engagement roll, which is pretty sweet.
Burn it.
Could be really easy.
You know what? If we make Peter DeRay just go away and make it just the most effortless thing in the world, what a wonderful flex that is.
The word that's going through my head is evaporate.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so now you're at a 4 dice on your engagement roll. Who
We
wants
should
to
each
roll?
roll one.
I still nominate Column just for guarantee of a shit roll.
It ought to be Jenny. This was Jenny's initial idea.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh,
So
okay.
4d6.
So 4d6.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go.
You're going to get 4 6s.
I know, but
6 and a
1
5.
6. Okay, so you are in a controlled position when you get this. So actually, the first time you do this, just based on Toulouse's groundwork, you have a sense of like how this might operate. You pick the right cart to accompany. Is one of you actually driving the cart by any chance?
Toulouse is taking a discrete load, and
loadout. Thank you.
I'm taking a fine disguise and a vial of sweet sleep.
And remember, you don't have to declare what you're taking; you just declare the size of the load.
I'm declaring it now.
All right.
I am disguised as a Cartier, I will call him. I will be driving the cart.
Okay, and the rest of you are sort of like following along.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I would say we should be cloaked.
Okay, so setting the scene, it is a moderately trafficked environment, but things stop and start on the way from the bakeries to the food stops at the Grown, and at one common intersection, the cart slows down, and the 3 of you observe, yes, this cloaked monk type figure lurk up and reach in toward the cart. Also, with a 6. You notice that observing, but kind of casually, as though they don't really expect any trouble, you see a couple of people who stand out as disguised probable house guards. Right? One of them is your brother. What the hell?
Oh, great.
He is dropping the thing in. The guards, this seems very routine to them. They are not eagle-eyed because clearly they've done this a bunch of times so far. So they're there as backup. They're not standing right on top of it. They're kind of out of the way, very blatantly trying not to draw attention to themselves. We see Peter make the drop. Adriano, you seem to be ready to act. What do you do?
I would like to step up discreetly and with my blade or 2, I have a small blade, but very quietly point it to this monk's back and say, "Come with me or you'll die right here."
Let's see how intimidating you are, and if he like makes a break for it right away, that'll be the risk. But this is a controlled roll, so even the consequences of failure are not so bad. It'll probably just decrease your position. What do you think you would use to do this? I honestly, brandishing a weapon could be skirmish, even if you're not actively stabbing. Though I'm open to other ideas as well. Command would make sense.
I like skirmish.
Okay. Now you're all together, so one of you could spend a stress to give a bonus die to the cat's roll if you want.
Toulouse will spend a stress.
Okay. So you've got 3 dice then on this intimidate him to stand still roll.
Ooh.
Okay. A pair of 5. So yeah, he freezes. The consequence is going to be that the other 2 do notice the action, and they don't actually see your knife. They just see somebody's talking to their person, so they're not reaching for weapons yet. This is what controlled is going to mean in this context. They're now just taking more notice, and the 2 of you watching, not McGowan and Gigi, see those 2 guards. You notice, like, that's odd, and kind of step forward, but they're not rushing into action yet. But you can resist that consequence if you would like, the cat, and make it so that they didn't notice it.
Okay, shall we go ahead and give that a try?
Absolutely.
For resistance? Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
4d6.
6. You take 0 stress. Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
So you actually did it so casually using... you know how to look warlike, and you use that skill to look very unwarlike. So from their perspective, somebody just happened to walk by and whisper something to their friend, but they don't think anything's odd about it. So Peter freezes for a moment in fear of his life. Gigi, you had thoughts on dealing with those guys?
Yeah, Gigi goes forward, and as she's passing by it's 2 guards and Adriano's brother, right?
One of the guards
Okay,
is
it's 2
Adriano.
people.
So it's
Excellent.
2 people. One of them her brother. Or his brother. Sorry.
I shoot one of them a wink, and I just keep walking.
Okay. Trying to catch their eye. I think that's a roll to see how successful you are. You guys are still in controlled, sadly, from my perspective. What would you... I could see a couple options there. What would you think you'd roll for me? Consort?
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like we're socializing amongst friends. Although, no, it's sway. I'm influencing with charm.
Okay, that does make a lot of sense, actually. That'll have more effect than consort would, yeah. Look at me, is the message I'm hearing.
So I'm rolling 2 dice, and I rolled a 2. And another 2. What are my options?
Okay, they don't buy it, and actually, if anything... Adriano's brother thinks he recognizes you as being affiliated with House Bastion, and that's going to bring up their hackles and move you guys into risky, unless you resist.
Yep, I'm going to use my special armor to resist a complication related to suspicion or persuasion for myself or the coterie.
Perfect. That works.
So I say unto you, Rob, no.
So they are not particularly extra distracted, but you have not alerted their suspicions either with that.
Right.
Cool.
All right, guys.
McGowan, you see that Adriano has the drop on the guy. The cart is getting ready to keep moving again. Once you've got your package, what are you doing?
The plan is still to, like, get him aboard, right?
Oh, I assume so.
I don't remember us actually, like, saying how we're going to get him aboard. So McGowan thinks maybe that's him.
Okay.
So now you say that a couple people have kind of noticed what's going on?
Because of all that resisting things there, the 2 guards haven't paid special attention. They're still in their unalerted state.
Okay. Well, McGowan will approach Peter, the good Peter, from, like, say, like, 90-degree or even 100-degree angles from where Adriano has gotten his attention, and will, like, kind of grab him by the upper arm. I want it to look friendly. He's like, I've been looking for you, Peter. We have to get going right away. And just, like, lead him to the cart.
All right. So he doesn't necessarily want to get on the cart, obviously. Are you, like, physically manhandling him to do it?
I'm prepared to do that as much as possible, but I want to, I'm willing to put myself at something of a disadvantage to not make it look too obvious.
All right. I'm going to call this risky now, because it's going to be hard to make it look super subtle.
Fair.
If you're not, okay. He's, enough of a spy to know that he doesn't want to go to a second location with his enemies. So he might risk the knife here. How I could see skirmish potentially. I'm open to other options though, as always.
I think skirmish is a bit more appropriate.
You kind of try to wrestle him in.
Yeah, I think if I was using Wreck, it'd be too obvious.
So I think Wreck could count if you were just coming up and popping him in the head.
Exactly. I'm not doing that.
Okay. So you've got 1 dot in skirmish. So you can push for 2 stress. Somebody else could push for a stress, of course.
I'm going to push for a pair of stress there. I'm already marking them on my character sheet.
Okay. Does anybody want to kick in to help, or are we going with 2 dice?
I'll kick in a couple stress.
Just 1 stress is all it takes to help somebody
just
else.
One stress. I'll kick in a stress for
Excellent. All right. So skirmish away with, I'm counting 3 dice now.
3d6.
Oh,
6.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so he is now trying to push back, but you grab him firmly and unexpectedly and basically sort of drag him up into the cart. And still discreetly enough, though, the guards in just a moment, I mean, they're not idiots. In just a moment, they're going to notice that their guy is up on the cart.
Of course.
But you did it so quickly that you have the head start of them, even when they do realize that.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Toulouse, you are up on the cart, and you mentioned a couple of the items you'd brought. The guy is now just dragged. Are you hopping to the cart with him, McGowan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
In fact, if anything, I want it, because you talked about people noticing him. Like, if anything, I want to like find ways to impede people's view, even if it means like shoving his head down or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, the cart has like side walls on it, so yes, you do that. Okay. Toulouse.
Well, what's the deal with these 2 guards? Are they still eyeing us?
You can do one thing basically before they notice their guy is suddenly in the cart that he was there to sabotage.
Okay, well, we do have the cart is covered, correct?
Sure. We can flash back for basic details like that. And we did determine that it has a hidey space in it, like where you like a tool case sort of.
Well, I thought when you described it first, when he poisoned it, that it had like a tarp over it or some such thing.
Oh, you could absolutely have a tarp, yes.
So, well, I suggest we get him under the tarp. I do have a vial of sweet sleep, so we could put him Betty buys.
Oh, there we go.
I also have a single shot pistol. I could just stick it in the side of him and shoot him and let him bleed out. But let's try the vial of sweet sleep.
Okay.
I would like to get him subdued and put him under the tarp, hopefully with the aid of McGowan.
Okay, so I think you'll need to, so you're kind of in the driver's seat here. As he pops in, you are going to try to administer the sweet sleep to him, which he obviously will recognize and try to avoid. So I think a roll is probably required at this juncture.
Yeah, and the closest thing I have would be like a maneuver.
Maneuver would probably make sense. I mean, that would be the best result. Sure.
Because it's all I got. It's the only thing I've got a pip in that would actually work. So that's 1 die. I would like some assistance if I can get it.
Yeah, I'll absolutely give that to you. I think that I would have a panic attack if I was in Peter's shoes, because like just imagining Toulouse's face getting closer with like a rag is deeply upsetting.
Yeah, and Toulouse is just emotionless all the time.
Yeah.
So, Rob, can I have a lady's favor? Because I really want this to work.
Oh, okay.
And I know you want to give me one.
All right. What's going to happen if I give you a lady's favor? He's going to yell, and that is non-resistible. And he's going to get the attention of his guards, and they're going to see your face, and they're going to know who you are and who is doing this.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that then.
Oh, you chicken.
That's a shitty favor. How's that a favor?
Well, the favor's the extra die.
Yeah, big deal.
We must balance the universe.
Okay, so it's going to be 2d6.
Did you push or just Gigi?
Oh, I can't push. No, Gigi did.
Okay.
I got you.
I've only got 1 stress
I'm
slot.
shooting my shot again with the 2 guys. That's me stressing.
Okay, here we go.
Can't try and break his streak.
Son of a bitch! 3.
Oh, no.
All right. It's not you. It's him. As you are leaning in toward him, there is a puff of smoke that just suddenly pops out from Peter's belt, and it briefly blinds both you and McGowan, not in a lasting way, but it's, for the moment you can't see him. He struggles away, and he's like trying to spin and jump out the back of the cart and yelling now.
Oh, crap.
Super.
The smoke is non-resistible. You could resist Column to make it so that he doesn't make a break for it. He's not able to get out there.
I can't
you only
resist.
have 1 stress
I've only got
left.
1 stress.
Okay, he's going for it.
And
makes a dive, and Adriano, you see, okay, everything's all in hand here. Hooray. And then suddenly there's a puff of smoke, and Peter's like, he doesn't even get upright. He's like running like a cat, actually. You kind of admire it. He's like scrabbling and like tries to go diving out of the cart.
All right. Is he trying to get out of the cart or is he getting out of it?
He's like, yeah, he's diving out of the back of the cart. You can catch him on the edge if you want, or deal with the consequences after he hits the ground.
I will catch him on the edge and force him back in.
Okay.
The cart's rolling, right?
Toulouse, had you started the cart in motion?
Of course, yes.
Of course. Okay.
All right. In that case, I'm going to have to use an unstoppable to both push him in and keep up with the damn cart.
It's not moving at a great speed.
Yeah, it's just at a crawl
just
at this point.
trundling along. Yeah.
All right. Well, then never mind. It's not a superhuman feat then. I will sort of haul myself up to the side of the cart and forcibly push him back in. This will probably be a skirmish as well.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yep.
I'm using force to get him back, get him the heck back in there.
Okay, so 2 dice, I believe, for your skirmish.
If I can do it like a well-placed windpipe chop.
Okay, that sounds great. We're in risky zone now since the situation has devolved a little bit out of control here, but you're mostly in the driver's seat.
Okay, so I could do a 2d6.
Yep, and you can push again for 2 stress if you want, and somebody can help for a stress. Magooin's standing right there, for example.
Yep, me. I will contribute.
Here we go. Okay, fair.
4.
You catch him and slam him back in, but what you hadn't seen, in his offhand, he had pulled a blade.
Ooh.
You successfully bring him in, but not before he slash across your ribs for a level 1 harm.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead. I'm going to get him.
Okay, so you can resist that. If you have room, I believe armor is an option for your load, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, I do have armor. I've checked armor, and I have 2 checks by armor already.
So you could, on armor uses next to healing, you could tick off armor and say, yeah, he slashed your armor, but didn't break through to the skin and didn't do that harm.
Okay, I could do that.
Okay, wonderful. So his blade slashes harmlessly across the leather jerkin you'd worn under your blouse or whatever jerkin, whatever kind of shirt you would be wearing. And you slam him down and you hear it oof, and he's stunned at least momentarily. You all see that. The 2 guards now, again, they're not idiots. The crowd is cleared like, crap. And they look at each other and both pull out foils, trying to hold him. They're not trying to like be obvious in the midst of a crowd that violence is about to happen, but they're coming toward you. Magooin, you just sort of help subdue with that stress. You see those guys coming. You see the road ahead is clear for Toulouse and the cart now. Yep. They probably would just need to be delayed, if anything, to make the getaway.
But is our quarry firmly aboard? I can't tell.
He is. At the moment, she slammed him down, and he's stunned and at a disadvantage.
Okay.
He's been shaken up a fair amount.
Boy.
What do we have in the cart?
You have Peter and a faked shipment of food.
A fake shipment of food.
Like, I assume there's just like empty crates and bags and things like that.
Yeah, you know what?
Sawdust.
It's full of knives.
Kick the crates out the back of the cart and so they can't catch onto it, hopefully, and just yell, go!
When they see you make that move, they're charging at you. So let's see. I think one good action to get away. Toulouse, are you going to fire up the horses here?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. In his stunned state, you can now activate the dream. What's your knockout poison?
Sweet sleep.
You can, you can hit him with a sweet sleep after the cat slams him onto the wagon.
All right.
I mean, here's what I would love is, to do one of these really great Indiana Jones things where it's like I pick up a crate, throw it, and it knocks 2 of them in the chest and they're on the ground.
Nice. I love it.
That's what we want.
That sounds like a fine thing to do.
And the cat much appreciates that because while he wanted to duel Peter, he kind of doesn't want to duel his brother, who's one of the guards.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I could see skirmish. I could see wreck.
I think wreck. This is going to be brute strength.
This sounds like an old-fashioned wreck. Yeah, old-fashioned wrecking party.
All right. And I will go ahead and, Jesus, I guess I'm racking up the stress. I'll burn 2 more, too, to give myself a better chance.
Toulouse will contribute his last stress to give you another one.
Okay.
So that should be 4d6, right?
Jesus, yeah.
Make it work.
This has to work.
There's a 6. That is just fine, yeah. They see you starting to move. They start to throw caution to the wind and pull their foils out and run headlong to the cart as it picks up speed. putting them right in the path of the crate you throw. You haven't done grievous damage to them, but they are stunned. They will stumble because they're running full tilt.
That's the point. It's to embarrass them and make them not be able to follow us.
Yes, and they will absolutely not be able to catch up before you're able to pull out, cross a bridge, and lose yourself in Illyrian.
There we go. Perfect. Job done.
You are able to hand the drugged Peter DeRay off to your smuggler contact at the trader's gate and arrange.
So much for doing it quietly.
Well, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. You did resist the moment where they were going to get eyes on you.
I was actually, yeah.
So they may have suspicions as to who did it, but so you didn't completely reveal yourselves.
The Keystone Cops got him.
Right.
I kind of had a plan to do a flashback where I had an architect friend set up an intricate, if like the entire front of a building could just like crumble, like with the flip of a switch or something, to just cause a massive distraction. I'm glad we didn't have to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that great engagement roll made that a lot easier
Absolutely.
for you. You would have had a hard time getting out with a little more serious fighting, I think. But yeah, that was very nice. Okay. That concludes the errand portion. Let us do our experience points and consequences, and then we'll take it to our downtime.
Okay.
Excellent. That was very exciting.
Yeah.
It was.
Perfectly, like,
How thrilling.
and now for dessert.
I got to say, I think that was more fun than an out-and-out assassination,
yeah.
too. I like I like the grab and smuggle. Okay, so no... wait. After an errand, we take stock of what you have achieved, both the influence of your... Okay, so yes, this is a thing that's going to give you influence in your house, removing a key enemy minion from town. I think 6 influence. Ooh. So this is stuff you can spend. And that's divvied up between the 4 of you and your crew sheet.
Oh, man. I'd say we each take 1 and put 2 on the crew.
Okay. So exposure. On the one hand, there was some loudness and chaos. On the other hand, you guys at some point specified disguise. So it's not necessarily super attached to you. Like there'll be talk, people who looked like you were spotted in the area. So I would say usually loud and chaotic high exposure would be 4 exposure. But I think because you contained it with disguises, I would just call it 2 exposure. Does that seem to make sense?
That's fine.
Yep.
Okay. So you haven't hit a shame.
Are you kidding me? We're the least shameful.
Let's do some experience points. Let's start with the crew this time. What the heck? Did you overcome an obstacle with audacity or unorthodoxy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
We just black bag disappeared a dude.
Did you contend with challenges above your current station? I mean, they're a higher level house, but you only got a little subset of them. So I don't know about that one.
I think it's a wash.
Okay. Did you bolster your coterie's reputation or develop a new one? Well, I'm seeing your reputations are uncouth and not to be trifled with. I mean, it's a little on the nose, if anything. That's an XP right there.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we're getting close.
And then, did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the coterie? I can think of a few ways that you did.
I think so, yeah.
Anybody want to specify? It was a fun scene when you were debating how exactly to go about this. Like I got to just sit back, which was awesome.
Oh, the tea party.
Yeah, I mean, I the idea that we're scrappy and we don't necessarily try and do anything cleverly.
Yeah,
cleverly is not the right word. Cleverly, I suppose.
But anyway, that's all worth an XP for sure.
Yeah, I think
so. Oh, you're so
close.
close.
One more, man.
One more, and you get an upgrade. Cool. Now, individuals. Adriano, did you address a challenge with violence?
Yes.
Violence and panache. Thank you.
And
very
or
much.
panache. Can we say you did both of those separately? I kind of think so.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
So you've got 2 XP to split among character XP, body, mind, or spirit XP tracks. Then, Magooan, your special one is, did you address a challenge with evasion and or mayhem?
I don't even understand. I'll be honest. Like, I didn't look at the XP triggers when I picked the character. I don't understand the evasion as part of the concept of a couth at all. Just
I don't quite get that either.
I don't get that.
I'm open to something else, though.
I mean, I'm also not like desperate to get XP,
Sure.
So I'm happy to skip that one for now.
Well, definitely you get mayhem, though. I think
Mayhem,
throwing
sure.
the crate at the Donkey Kong ending there was totally a mayhem moment.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
maybe if we wanted to think of an alternate one for that, like maybe it's like working the crowd or something like that, or
That's come up in every
Yeah.
session we've had.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we
it
gotta
is
come up with something better
problematic.
than that.
I just don't understand that one.
Uh-huh.
Me neither.
Wise. I'll try to come up with something. You can think of something too, Damon, and maybe
Yeah.
we can backdate an XP if it fits.
That's fine. Thank you.
Toulouse's special is a challenge with stealth and or perception.
Yep.
I think so, in the
I
gather
did that.
information zone. And you tried
Yep.
to do a stealthy drugging, and it
Yes.
works even if you fail. And GG, and then expertise and or calculation,
Yeah.
GG.
I think that the challenge of Lady Imelda, even though it's not a done deal, I think that it was a calculated move to go to this source.
Oh, very much so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think I addressed any challenges with expertise, however.
And that's kind of a funky one too. So maybe we'll think
I
about
don't
that.
actually.
I feel like it should be charm for your character.
Sure, that does make a little bit more sense, right?
Mm-hmm. And Damon, I think yours would be like down to earth, plain thinking, or something like that.
Yeah. You're a real person of the people.
Exactly.
Did you address a challenge like a pro?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for everybody, did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background? Going back to Adriano.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of driven by honor.
Yeah. Oh, you
And
absolutely did this.
And to me, Peter was sullying our honor.
Ding. Absolutely. And you were almost ready to. It seemed like if your armor hadn't gotten in the way, Peter may not have lived through the day.
This is he tried to freaking kill me. So yeah.
He was maybe just trying to cut you a little. But that's an XP, yes. And then McGowan, same question. Your heritage, drives, belief, or background?
I'm really concerned about getting the dock workers their due.
Yeah. I think focusing on that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
Same question for Toulouse.
I don't believe so. Not in this session.
I feel like your military background absolutely came up, though.
I thought about that initially, but I don't know. I mean, if you're giving it, I'll take it.
Yeah, and like I also like the description of your like cold dead eyes or your expressionlessness as you're like, yes, I'm just gonna drug this fellow.
Yeah, I also use that in my character too.
Yeah, I like that. I think that counts. And then Gigi, same question with your drives, heritage, or background.
I believe that one of Gigi's beliefs and drives is that this is a game that has a very long view. That's what she was trying to express when she was talking at the tea time table in terms of being defensive towards House Corvetto, because we can't directly assault them. We can definitely remove their pawn. So I think in honoring this as a game,
I think it counts.
Yeah,
totally. I like it. And did anybody deal with issues related to their vice or their indulgence in this game? And nobody has a scandal yet. So did anybody deal with their indulgence raising trouble during the game? Because it's got to be struggled with, not just alluded to. I don't think so on that one. Okay. Then it's downtime, and you've got got a lot of stress. It sounds like, but you've also got some work to do if you're going to put on a big show.
Oh boy!
So let's reverse the order now. Gigi, we'll start with you for downtime actions, and remember, you get 2 downtimes each, and you can spend an influence to get an extra one.
I will be completely honest. If we want to burn through the 3 downtimes I have planned, we can let's just knock this out, because it's going to be the same thing. I would like to roll. Let's start with Consort, just to get this play together. We're at the halfway point. This is push time. Like Gigi now she's always got a cup of coffee on hand. Like, we got deadlines. We got to make things happen.
I'll say yes, you can roll Consort. If you roll Command, you're going to get more benefit out of it. Because, I mean, what do actors listen to? The nicey drink up, or like, no, you stand at that mark, or I don't know what you say.
Yeah, no, that's about right.
So there's no penalty in using Consort. I'm saying there's a bonus if you get good results with the Command.
So I don't have any pips in Command is the problem. So I'd be rolling.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the downside.
If you want to hit me with a favor to make it an even roll, I'm listening for Command. But otherwise, Gigi knows what she's good at.
Okay, that sounds good. That is Gigi's way. Okay, so Consort on. So this is 2 dice. So on this is your long-term intrigue. A fail isn't a fail. It's you only get a little work. 1 dot. 4 or 5 is 2. 6 is 3, and critical is 4, I believe.
That's a 6.
Ooh,
and that's a 6.
Okay, we're going to do them one at a time. That is 5 ticks.
That's 5 ticks.
So no, that was fine. You need to roll 2 dice. Yeah, are you I got him. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it.
Coffee emoji got it done.
Okay.
Your short-term project is over.
Wow. Good time for a critical. You guys have the show ready to rock. And part of the reason you're able to do it is your house's supply strength. I would have added more challenges if you had to come up with material, but that part is covered. So well done. First downtime action for Toulouse.
It's going to have to be indulgence. My stress is completely maxed out.
Awesome.
The play's underway now.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah, it's done.
And you use your worst attribute. Oh, that's bad
Yeah.
for you. That would be your spirit with 0. So you roll 2 dice and take the lower. Okay. It's your time for boxcars, man. I feel it.
That's a 5 and a 1.
Oh no.
So
You relieve 1 stress.
that's fine. I'll
Okay.
take 1.
Magooin, your first downtime action.
I need to gamble in order to reduce my own stress.
All right. So you look at your worst attribute,
That would be spirit. I've only got 1 of the 4.
which is a hell of a lot better than column. Okay.
All right.
So
I
1d6.
roll 1d6.
And that's how much stress. For
Only
1.
1. All right.
Okay.
Not as
Well, you guys are paying the price. The cat's first downtime action.
Well, first of all, I'd like to train.
Okay. So that's pretty easy. You just put a dot in prowess or mind or character or the other one of those 4.
Okay, I'm gonna give myself that hunt one.
Oh,
in
so it
mind.
would go in mind. Yep, exactly. Okay, that brings us back to Gigi.
I feel like that was the last 2 days, and it's like, oh wow, I get a Saturday. So Saturday is let's find some paramours for my companions. All right.
Ooh.
I'm looking
Okay.
at my list.
Hey, do we do one paramour track or did we do separate ones
I've
for
got
everybody?
3
I can't
different
remember.
clocks. Each clock has 4
Yeah.
sections in it.
So who are you seeking to find love for first?
I think Adriano is. I just need to put someone on that as soon as possible. Just to kind of make
Okay.
it act.
Have him stop bugging
Yeah,
you.
just so that, well, they're bugging me, but also just to give them a reason, right? To give them a reason to act right. I'm not worried about Magooin.
I'm pretty unfocused.
I need to have a conversation with Toulouse about whether or not this is even like a thing. But anyway, so I am consorting my face off. I'm hitting up the Viscount's winter garden parties. I am doing on the side,
Yeah.
telling people about the show, but also looking. I'm hunting.
Okay. For love in all
Yeah.
the right places. Okay, so it's a consort role, it sounds like, to add to this long-term
Yes.
project. And Adriano, you're noble background, right? So that would be a sensible place to look for someone for you.
Right. I mean, I was a dashing military sort, so yes, I have a noble background. And
Great. Okay. So yeah, that
What
makes total
does
sense.
Adriano like in a partner? Gigi would have asked that at some point.
I'm a typical, shallow type of handsome and dashing and fashionable and kind of a little bit empty-headed. One of the things that Adriano doesn't really possess much of is anything in the mind
Mhm.
track.
Sure,
So he would say she must be very beautiful and very rich.
of course.
That's pretty much what he's looking for. The rest is up to you.
Gigi's not
Gigi.
offended or taken aback by that. That just is that's a course of action. That's a choice. Okay, yeah, we can do that.
All right, so 2d6, I believe, with your
All right.
consort.
That's a 1, and that is a 3. Listen, it's a process.
Okay, so you just get one tick. So it's not you're getting some prospect ideas. This is getting toward the end of winter. Spring season is when things are going to start to look more lively. So you chalk up the slim pickings to, people are kind of holding off for spring here. So you got to start.
and
you got a
know what?
list.
That was my goal. So mission successful.
Mhm. Okay,
Excellent.
Toulouse, now your second downtime.
Yeah, it's gonna be indulge.
So much drugs.
Yeah. Oh, good. That is a 4 and a 4. So 4.
Oh, sounds like 4 to me. And it's Lady Imelda in the drug house with you. No, not really.
I'm gonna go in and get her wig.
She does that on her own time. Magooin, your second downtime.
Well, I need to burn some stress. More gambling.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You got a 1 as well, but you get a whole die.
Yeah, I
So,
get a whole die. Oh my gosh. All right,
Another
well, that's not
1.
good. That's the way it goes.
Yeah. You just there. Well, and that's the thing. It's the winter season. There aren't necessarily good games out there. There's no sports
Right.
books to bet on. Yeah. What are you gonna do? And the cat's second downtime.
I was going to maybe go with the intrigue. What's the one that we've ignored so far?
You caught the bread tamperer. The Temple of the Lady has seized formerly noble lands for the recently disgraced House Orsini. So the Temple of the Lady, which you guys are friendly with, you have a +1 with the Graces who run it. They're trying to build basically nice housing for the poor folk in town, but noble families, some of them have their eyes on that land and want to thwart it. So you could start a long-term project aimed at helping that. It won't finish up now, but it is something you could start doing.
Yeah, I think I'd like to start to start checking on that, and
Okay.
being of the nobility myself, I'd like to see who's trying to claim this land.
Okay, let's see. You could start a clock on your sheet. Let's see, what skill would you roll to start establishing something like this?
That would be a survey,
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You're figuring out how this stuff works.
right?
Yeah, that sounds great.
1d6.
For a 1, but that's okay. You
Oh.
still get 1 tick. It's just,
Mhm.
this is the complicated world of real estate, property, and banking. So
And
it's all kind of
Adrian is not that
inscrutable.
smart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you do get 1 tick on that clock.
Okay.
That's everybody for 2. Does anybody want to spend one of your influence points to get a
I
bonus
do.
downtime action? Really?
Yes.
I do. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm
Go ahead,
spending one
Colin.
influence. I'm spending 1 influence, and I am going to train and in spirit, and that fills my spirit line.
Hey, so you'll have a whole die to roll on these.
I am going to put 1 in sway, I think.
Okay.
Seems like a good one.
And Damon.
I'm gonna gamble some more.
Okay. The way you're rolling dice, I might steer you away from the gambling tables, but we'll see. You rolled better earlier. Oh, 2 stress this time.
I doubled it.
Okay. All right. Gigi or Kat, do you want to spend an influence to do one more downtime or wrap it up there?
Do.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
And Brett,
I
I'm
sure
sorry?
do.
Okay.
He's just gonna sit in a dark room and talk to seemingly nothing. I only got a 1.
Okay.
One day we got to talk about this because this is really weird and creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Find out about it.
I think Gigi's main goal in life is to not
Yeah.
talk about this
Sure.
with others.
You know what? If you want to have that conversation, we can have it. But
All right. That is our session. Whenever we pull the next one together, that will be the big show. So I think we'll start off with an engagement roll for the show and then have a series of flashbacks determining how your enemies try to thwart you.
Very nice.
You have a couple bonuses going in terms of Adriano's work, laying the groundwork with some courtesans to participate, and having taken out one of the lead figures who probably would have been trying to interfere with this. He is bouncing along in a cart well away from Ilrian right now. So you've done a couple things that are going to make your lives easier in the next session.
Sounds good.
Yay.